Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is our Healy Overview webinar for all of you to learn all about the amazing little Healy microcurrent frequency device, which you see right here. And this has been a life changer for me and Riley, who is joining us here as well. And we are both members of what's called the Healy Board for the United States, which means they've chosen 10 of us that are Healy distributors to kind of represent the field and be able to ask questions and advise and so on. So all it really means is that Riley and I have been doing this a while. We kind of know what we're talking about. We can certainly answer your questions. If you do have questions, feel free to type them into the chat there and we will do our best to answer all of them. And but we'll probably answer most of your questions just by going through this presentation. So first, I want to just make sure that everyone understands what frequency medicine or using frequencies mean. Because when I first heard about this, it was back in May of 2020. Now, my wife and I had always done our health care more holistically, meaning we were using homeopathic medicine and essential oils and trying to do everything more alternative rather than going to a traditional doctor as much as we could to try to prevent health problems, right? So if you're of that vein or that mindset, this is probably right up your alley. So a doctor friend of mine that was a holistic doctor named Dr. Corrine Allen, she called me in May of 2020 and said, David, you got to check this thing out. Now, I had not heard of much to do with frequency or energy medicine. I had seen an article about a Rife machine, which was from like 100 years ago, but I did not really know anything beyond that. I never tried it and never experimented or experienced using frequencies. I would see those Facebook posts saying stuff like raise your vibration, and I didn't really quite understand what that meant, but I now realizing that it all has to do somewhat with this, because there's two very important quotes that I've learned along the way that I want to share with you. And one is by Nikola Tesla, famous quantum physicist from, again, about 100 years ago or so. And he said, if you want to understand the secrets to the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And then Albert Einstein, who I'm sure you've heard of, is another physicist, and he said the future medicine will be the medicine of frequencies. So even 100 years ago, 100 years ago, they understood that this type of thing was coming. And there are lots of large, expensive devices that are used in certain practitioners' offices where they cost tens of thousands of dollars, and you can go in and pay $150 for a session and do some frequency work. In fact, this is an offshoot of a company called Time Waver, which has one of those $40,000 machines that you can go to a Time Waver specialist and do that kind of work with them. But what we've done now is they wanted to make frequencies available to everyone. So this is a consumer type of a product where the average person like you and me can own it, and we can experience using frequencies every day. And we have 3 different ways that we provide frequencies that we'll go over when I do a demonstration. So the basic idea of frequencies is this. Every cell in our body is a little power plant. It's an electrical power plant. The cell wall has a set voltage to it. And every type of cell has a different vibration, a different frequency that it vibrates at. So a hair cell and a skin cell and a liver cell and a heart cell will all have a different ideal frequency. And it's been proven that if you can resonate energy in at specific frequencies, you get an actual physical response in the cell. Things like ATP production is increased, which is the energy of the cell. Protein synthesis is enabled better. Amino acid transport is better. So there are things that happen. Now, we've also learned, of course, that frequencies are everything, just like Nikola Tesla said. And even our thoughts and emotions and brain waves and everything is frequency. And we can actually have a positive influence by resonating the correct frequencies. So what does that mean to resonate? If you can add energy at a specific frequency, it will cause that energy to grow at a specific frequency. It's kind of like people have talked about having 2 violins in a room, and you just set one over on the other side of the room and you start bowing the G string on one, the G string on the other one on the other side of the room will start to vibrate and make sound because that resonant frequency is hitting that string, which is tuned to that same exact frequency, and it's causing the energy to grow in that string, and it starts to vibrate, even though you're not touching it. It's really cool. So that's what we're doing in our cells. So I'm going to be able in a minute to go through all of the kind of a demonstration of how it works, and I'll show you specifically what we do within the apps. But for right now, I'd like Riley to come on board here. And Riley, why don't you just tell a little of your story, your background, and if you could share a little more about, you know, anything you want to share about the background of TimeWaver or Marcus Schmieke, the inventor, and how this all came to be.
Yeah, absolutely. So hi, everybody. My name is Riley Jatan. I'm 23 years old, and my background is actually in heating, ventilation, air conditioning. So I went to trade school, and I found this excellent opportunity by happenstance by my dad. And so he brought this Healy device home. And at the time, I really wasn't interested in the device that he brought home. So I have chronic pain. I actually have a broken tailbone that I broke about 8 years ago when I was in high school. And so it still broke to this day. And so I've been dealing with a bunch of back pain. And, you know, pain leads to all sorts of other mental or physical issues as well. And so because of this Healy, I came home one evening. My dad, he said, Riley, I really need you to sit down and let me do a scan for you. And I said, Dad, fine, plug me in, do a scan, just leave me alone. And so after the scan, my dad pulled up the program. It's Gold Cycle Release. And so what that program is to find the pain at its source and then get rid of it. So after that program was over, I had the best night of sleep I've ever had. I woke up happy to be alive. I actually enjoyed going back to my awful job, believe it or not. And so I had a total mental, physical shift in my life just because of that one program. Now, it wasn't just an overnight experience for me. I've had 6 programs prior to, but this one really hit home and resonated with my cells and actually gave me that positive outcome. So all of the stress that I kept in my back, all the tension because of the pain, it all just melted away. And so from that moment, I knew that, you know, I probably should get a Healy. And then since then, I haven't had a steroid shot for the last 2 years. I haven't touched a painkiller for any of my pain, Tylenol, ibuprofen, or anything like that. Solely the Healy has been what I've been using to manage my pain. Now, the Healy wasn't initially a word of mouth marketing. So Healy originated from TimeWaver, and Marcus Schmieke is the inventor of TimeWaver. And so he invented that around the Healy around 2007. And so with the technology that he had, he envisioned it for the practitioners. And so that was the first route to share this frequency medicine with this wearable technology. Now the TimeWaver is the bigger, larger device that David was talking about. That's $20,000 to $40,000 for the device. And then you have to then purchase training, fly to Germany, get that education to then come back and use that TimeWaver device on somebody or yourself. Now this, it's all with your smartphone. And so because it went to the practitioner's office, and practitioners aren't necessarily the greatest at sales, it kind of didn't take off as they wanted to. So in 2017, after the practitioners had it, 2019, it shifted into word of mouth marketing. And so the Healy was sold around the world in 2019. And so by the first end of year sales, they had about $1 million worth in sales, $7 million worth in sales, sorry. And now that when the Healy entered the United States in May of 2020, the middle of the pandemic, by the end of that year, we had over $100 million in sales. So because of supply and demand and the rapid growth, everybody was wanting to get back and take control of their health. So with that, my dad and I, we made a decision. I actually quit my full-time job in the HVAC world in December of 2020. December 2021, I started doing this full-time. So I get to help share and teach and train people how to use this device to help them take back their health and earn a little bit of income if that's interest them at all.
That is awesome. Thank you, Riley, for that. Anything else you want to share, or should I go into the demonstration?
Go ahead.
All right, so we're going to demonstrate exactly how the Healy works. Like Riley said, we use our smartphone or a tablet. It can be either Android or iOS. smartphone or tablet. So what I'm going to do is share my phone screen. Clear my phone out real quick and then hit share screen, iPhone, share, and merge it up with my phone. So here you go. Now you're seeing my phone screen, and you'll see we have several different Healy apps over here. What I'm going to show you first is right here in this Healy app, where we can control all sorts of different Healy devices, including a new one that we have called the Mag Healy as well. Oops. In fact, it's connecting to my Mag Healy, but I didn't want it to because I didn't have my Healy turned on. So let me close that out and connect here. I have my, oh, let me see what's going on here, guys. Hold on a second. All right, there it is. Connect. Okay. So now we're connecting to the Healy that I have right here on my clip to my shirt. And yes, there's a little blue Bluetooth light blinking on there, if you can see that, because it connects by Bluetooth. And I will just continue on here. And I'm going to cancel that. And we are going to go look at all the different things that we can do with the Healy. So starting here, you can see the different types of programs that we do. And in this case, we would use microcurrent. In fact, you know what? I really jumped ahead of the game here, and I'm going to stop sharing there so I can just show you a little bit about that. So here's the Healy itself, and normally we would have wires plugged into the Healy if you want to do the first form of microcurrent frequencies that we can do, called microcurrent. So wires plugged into the Healy, just using the electrical charge that comes from the battery inside here at very specific frequencies. The other end of these wires are going to these wrist electrodes right here, and it's allowing frequencies to flow through my body between the two electrodes, through the cells and the water in my body. If I unplug these, we can do the second type of frequencies that we do, which is with this very cool little device, a little accessory that we have called the Coil. And you can probably see there's a coil of wire in there that's embedded into this. There's actually two of them. These are Tesla coils. If you've heard of Nikola Tesla, again, the quantum physicist, he did a lot of work with energy and things called Tesla coils. So we got two of them in here. And when you plug this in like that, right where the wires would have gone, now we can do frequency work wirelessly. With the wires, it's going through the cells in your body. With the coil, it's balancing the energy in your bioenergetic field, because we all have an EMF field that surrounds our body that now the quantum physicists actually call it the information field, because it's full of frequency information that can be read. And again, you can resonate energy in there. When you do it with this type of a coil arrangement, a Tesla coil arrangement, it is doing something called scalar waves in a 0-point field. So if you want to get into all the quantum physics, you can go look that kind of stuff up. But just know that it's all quantum physics. It's not woo-woo, it's science. And we can balance the energy in our field with that coil. I am going to, for the purpose of our demonstration, I wanted to show you how it works with the wires. And then I'll show you a third way we can do frequencies in just a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to go back to sharing my screen of my phone. Just a second to connect up here. Okay, so we have all these different applications, which are really, really cool. So Riley had spoke specifically of this one right here in the gold cycle group called Release. These were developed by one of these time waver practitioners, and it's like these very kind of becoming well-known and well-loved frequency sets that do lots of different things. So Pure, for instance, is about detoxing the body. Release is about pain in the body, as Riley had talked about, and then we have energy and relax and so on. Okay, so let me just give you an example of what it looks like to run this release program like Riley had done. If I click on it, it shows that I would want to connect using the electrodes on my wrist, and I would just hit start. It's sending the frequencies over right now, as you see across this bar. It's sending the frequencies by Bluetooth from my phone in the app, sending that over to the Healy device itself. And so the Healy will now have just these set of frequencies, which could be dozens or even hundreds of different frequencies that this time waver practitioner had determined would be part of this release program. So you're going to see here in a second that it'll choose different frequencies for me. But yeah, there's probably hundreds of frequencies in there. And so now here we go. We're at 248 hertz. And then after 10 seconds, that will change to a new frequency. So 248 hertz, now 746 hertz. So what it's doing right now is for the next 9 or 10 minutes, it's going to test all these different frequencies against my field. So there's a quantum sensor in here that is scanning and kind of pinging my electromagnetic field or the bioenergetic field to see which frequencies are low or out of balance in this set. And it's going to be choosing, as it scans and tries these different things, like 930 hertz right now. This program will go for 45 minutes and 21 seconds. If I were to, I would typically bump up the intensity here till, if I go up in my case to about 40% or so, I start to feel a little tingling in my hand or a little sense of energy in my hands there because of the frequencies that are passing through the cells in my body. You can see the wave here showing that I have good conductivity. Now, if I didn't have good conductivity, either because the intensity was set too low or I'm very dehydrated, so the frequencies can't pass through the water and cells in my body, or if you're disconnected, you would get this. I've just disconnected it. It says a frequency is being generated, but no measurable current is flowing. Okay, because I've interrupted the cycle now. Plug it back in. It's going to sense that the frequency is passing through my body. I'm part of the cycle, part of the circuit there, and it's utilizing that. So throughout my whole body, it's resonating through the meridians in your body, through the energy pathways, through the cells, and it's just awesome what's going on right now, okay, to really balance everything out the way it's supposed to be, because at the basics, we are subatomic creatures. Energy is all at the subatomic level, and that's just how God has made our bodies to work. It's really pretty cool. We're learning more and more and more about this as we speak. So that is how you run a program. Let me actually exit out of here and just show you what kind of cool programs that we do have. So besides the gold cycle, we have these pain programs. These two are actually FDA cleared for chronic pain and arthritis pain and muscle soreness and different kinds of pain. So we have FDA clearance as a class 2 medical device for pain, but the FDA doesn't recognize all the 1,000 other things the Healy can do, but that's fine. The Healy does a lot of stuff in energy work, but at least the FDA is recognizing that pain management is one thing that frequencies are very good at. Okay, so these other ones that have Roman numerals are because the FDA wouldn't recognize it, but we know they work. This is tooth and jaw pain, joint pain, migraine. This is actually insomnia and depression and anxiety here. And then we have all these other programs, learning programs, concentration and stress and so on. Fitness programs, I'll usually run like the performance or the strength or the stamina while I'm working out or going on a run or a hike or a bike ride or something. When I'm done, I always run this regeneration to help the muscles and the cells regenerate in the body. There's job and sleep programs here. There's mental balance programs. By the way, in Europe, they have medical clearances that go beyond what our FDA recognizes. They also add, besides pain, they add fibromyalgia and anxiety and depression. And so they recognize that there is some effect to these kind of programs too. There's beauty programs and skin programs, bioenergetic harmony 1 and 2. In a minute, I'm going to show you how I do some scans of your field to see what programs you need the most. And it was intriguing to me how the Healy could target what I needed. When I first started, the 2 programs that came up the most for me were this nerve harmony, and on the next page, sciatic nerve harmony local. And I was having those issues. I had numbness in this finger. It was due to a pinched nerve in my shoulder blade, and I fixed all that in the shoulder blade with a chiropractor, but I had this ongoing numbness in this finger here, this pointer finger, which I didn't like because my degree's in piano performance. I play piano. I did not like having numbness in that finger. But I was also having this sciatic nerve probably for 10 years. I've been having flare-ups once or twice a week. And so the Healy could see that, and I would run these programs whenever it told me that that's what was most resonant with me, and besides a lot of other things too. But it was really interesting to me how those kept coming up very, very often. Now, they rarely, if ever, come up because both of those issues have been resolved. In 2.5 years now, I've had maybe 1 or 2 mild flare-ups of sciatica, and it was when I was like moving and lifting a lot of furniture and just doing some really strenuous bending and twisting and stuff. That kind of flared up just for a little bit, but it was very mild compared to what used to be, and it went away right away. So it's been awesome having the Healy solve a lot of these issues in my body. But you can see the kinds of programs that are in here. Then we get into meridians. If you're familiar with acupuncture and this idea of energy pathways in the body, there's 20 of them that we have here, 10 on this page, and another 10 here on this page. of the meridians. And then these are the chakras, if you're familiar with this concept of there being 7 energy centers kind of going down your spine from the top of your head. They're tied to things like the thyroid gland is the throat chakra and so on. But these are measurable, and we can actually do energy work with each of those chakras here with microcurrent, like I showed you. We have bioenergetic defense. I'll just quickly through some of these bioenergetic boosts. Well, this was released during COVID as kind of an immune system enhancer. Coherence is just kind of an overall coherence balancing in the field. We see here we've got bioenergetic vitalization. These are so cool because they're having to do with stem cells and human growth hormone and keeping us young. See youth and epigenetic harmonization and so on. We have deep cycle, which is detoxing the body. Digital nutrition mixtures is 6 pages. It's like having a brain supplement or a hair supplement or a skin supplement and having all the frequency information of the vitamins and minerals and nutrients that would make up that supplement. And you can send that into your body as an energy signature, as a frequency or as multiple frequencies. And it's awesome. Okay, you see 6 pages of these types of programs. Power of 3 is another set. Soul cycle, there's just tons of things. Natural cycle. You see, I have a lot of things in my Healy here, of course. And then if I go back, and there's one other cool thing we have here called the expert area. And in the expert area, you can work with a time waiver therapist, one of the people that has that $40,000 time waiver device, and they can make you a custom program specifically for the issues that you're dealing with. And for instance, I do have one here that I got through a time waiver therapist that lives in Hawaii, named Derek Nakamura. And this is awesome. You know, you can get a specific program made for you. He'll interview you, kind of get an idea of your health situation and make you a specific program. And we keep hearing of amazing results from that as well, besides all the amazing results of the Healy. So that is really what you can do microcurrent wise. Now let me show you. We do have this app here that allows you to even search. You can type in a situation like lower back pain or diabetes or whatever you want. It'll give you a list of frequency programs that you would run in this app, but it'll give you a list that you could focus on. But what I like to do is this one here, where we can do scanning of our field. And there's actually quite a bit beyond what I'm going to show you tonight, because you'll see here that there's 3 different modules that we can work with. Let's let it get connected here. Resonance, coaching, and aura. Aura is working specifically with the chakras in the body and dealing with all the physical, emotional, mental stuff that can affect. Coaching analysis is a way you can even do kind of like life coach work with frequencies. So this will have areas that you would concentrate on, things like personal relationships and finances and business and mindset and self-worth issues. And it's really, really pretty cool. You know, if you've done anything with energy work, that'll really excite you. But the resonance analysis is what I want to show you, because this is how most people will work with the Healy every day if they have this resonance module. I'm just going to select myself as the client, and then it's going to scan for the Healy device, make sure it's turned on again. And when I see my Healy device appear here, I'll just select it. Give it a second. There we go. So it's going to connect to the Healy, and then you're going to say it has a focus that says, with what do I have the greatest resonance now? What that means is we're going to go to this database, and it's going to compare, when I do a scan within a database, it's comparing all the frequencies in that database with my bioenergetic field, that information field that surrounds my body, and seeing which ones I have the most resonance with, or in this case, meaning that I need the most work with. Okay, let's go there and look. You see all these different types of programs that we can do. So we have, well, let's jump down here first and show you. Down here, you see the ones that start with the word Healy. These are all those program groups you saw in the first app I showed you: digital nutrition, bioenergetic support, learning and skin, and power of 3, and stimulation is the pain program, sleep program, so on. So you could scan within those and see what you need. But what we typically do will be scan right here where it says all Healy to see which one of those is most important. So I just touch the screen where it shows that fingerprint. It's not actually scanning my finger. It's just a point of focus to say, let's start the scan. It's scanning my field, and it shows me that the Meridians 2 programs are the #1 most resonant with me, and then job programs, and then well-being programs, and it'll always bring up the top 5. Stimulation is pain, and deep cycle programs is like detoxing. Okay, so I know that the #1 program and the #1 group is somewhere in this group, Meridians 2. So what I typically do then is go back out, go into resonance, choose me as the client, go to the database. Now I go find the Healy, what was it? Was it Meridians 2 or was it bioenergetic? It was Meridians 2. Meridians 2, start analysis, and I do a scan within that theme, that group. So this is taking the 10 programs that are in this group, comparing all the frequencies in the programs with my bioenergetic field to see which programs I need the most. It's going to give me the top 5, and it's giving me lungs at a really high resonance, and then the rest aren't that low. Now, this is interesting. I actually have had a touch of the flu over the weekend, and my voice right now sounds a little lower than it has, and I've had to mute myself a couple times to cough. So I do have something going on in my lungs, and the Healy can see there's an imbalance there in my field. And so this is the program I'm going to run. So what I would typically do is I would jump right over to the other program, go to Meridians 2, and run the lungs program. Okay, so I'll do that here in just a minute. But the other thing we can do is go actions, vibrate. This is a third way that we can do frequency work. And notice it's got all 5 of those programs that came up for me in the Meridians 2. Lungs, the organ meridian, liver meridian, lymphatic system, nerve meridian. And you would select a time period. The default's a minute 20. I'll go a little shorter for time here. Let's start. And what this is doing is our third way of doing frequencies. I showed you the wires where it's microcurrent through the body. I showed you the coil where it's scalar waves balancing the energy in your field. This is balancing energy in the quantum field. If you've ever heard of quantum entanglement, that's a quantum physics term where there's a connection between everything in the quantum field. We can identify, we're doing this in this case by the client file, which is myself, and it is sending frequencies into my field. I don't need the wires, I don't need the coil, I don't need anything. The Healy is just doing that. You see the blue wavy line means it's still scanning my field, and the reddish wavy line means it's sending frequencies into my field. So it's real time changing and adjusting the frequencies for me personally. Everyone that runs a Healy program, whether it's one of these vibrational type like I just showed you, or even with the wires of the coil, it is scanning your field in real time, and you're getting a unique set of frequencies out of the set that's been identified here is important for you personally. So we all get different treatments. It's awesome. Okay, so beyond that, this was a great way to show do all Healy scan and then scan within the top program. And now I would run that program. I might want to run in the second, whatever the second group was also, and do a scan and see what program that is. Because through the day, I might run 5 or 10 different programs, some with the wires, some with the coil. Healy would say only do about 3 or so with the wires and put a lot of space in between, but you can do as many as you want with the coil. So if you want to run back-to-back programs all day long, you just do a few with the wires, a bunch with the coil. Some people do just coil, but even Marcus Schmieke would say there's some benefit to using the wires. That's the most intense application through the cells in the body. So I'd encourage you to try to do some with the wires too, even though the coil is so convenient. All right, so the other thing we can do here, this helped me identify which program is most important. I can go over the other app and run it with microcurrent, or do the wireless frequencies like I just did, the vibrational ones. But we do have all these other databases that we only use this third form. So as you'll see here, if you are into holistic health, you may be familiar with some of these things like Alaskan gem elixirs, or Australian bush flowers, or Bach flowers, homeopathics. Down at the bottom, there's even things like Schussler salts, vital substances. I Ching is traditional Chinese medicine. So we can do frequency work and those types of things as well, where you'd scan and then just do those vibrational frequencies into your field. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing there. And again, if you have any questions, just type them into the chat, and Riley will certainly try to help answer those. And then now I'm going to share my computer screen because I want to show you a little more about what we do. And let me see if I have this opened up. I might not have opened up my program. So let me check. I thought I did. Here it is right here. I thought I had opened it. We'll do it again. It's thinking about it. There it is. Okay. So let me hit play here so it's bigger for you. So this is how all the different editions of the Healy work and the pricing. So the concept behind how we promote the Healy is that there are 5 different editions of the Healy at 5 different price points. But the hardware, the device itself, is the same for every edition. Really what you're purchasing in the different editions is what programs do you have access to? What modules do you have access to, like the resonance module and the coaching module and the ARA module and the search module and all these different things. So you can always start with a lower edition if you just, for financial reasons, if you need to, and then you can later upgrade to a higher one without having to get a whole new Healy. You don't need new hardware. It's just a software update right in the background, and it's done. In fact, it's almost instant. So when you do purchase the Healy, you will get all the things that you need to use your Healy. They also give us a 14-day money-back guarantee, and they do it from the day you receive your Healy. They can see when it was delivered to your doorstep, and you have 2 weeks to play with it. If you, for some reason, decide it's not for you, you can send it back and you get all your money back. So there's no reason not to give it a try and see what you think. This is examples of all those different program groups that you saw in my Healy, these different app modules. And again, if you have the lowest price edition, it's only going to have a few of these. If you have the highest price edition, it may have most of these. There's a few things that are only available outside of editions, either by a one-time purchase or a monthly subscription. If you have a lower edition but you really, really want something that's not in your edition, then you can add it as a monthly subscription, or you can upgrade to the higher edition if it has it in the higher edition. One example of a program that is not in any edition is this animal module. There's 12 specific microcurrent programs to do work with your dogs and cats and horses and any kind of animals. And if you want to have those specific programs, you would subscribe to that as a monthly fee. But most people, or many people, own a Healy without paying any kind of monthly subscription, because whatever comes in your edition will be for life, and you own those programs forever. So let's give you examples of that. The Healy Gold is the lowest price Healy edition at about $500. It only has 11 microcurrent programs. It's kind of a starter model. It has the Gold Cycle. This is that Gold Cycle release that Riley said was so important for her. It has those bioenergetic support programs we talked about, and it has the 2 FDA cleared programs here that are used, that give our device a Class 2 medical device clearance with the FDA. On the far extreme, the most expensive Healy, if they aren't on sale like they are here in December, is about $4,000, but it's actually quite discounted this month, as you'll see in a minute. The Healy Professional has 216 microcurrent programs compared to just 11 in all of these different program groups, and it has these 6 different app modules. We played with the resonance module here. I told you about the search module where you could type in a condition or something. We talked about the coaching module. We talked a little bit about the ARA module and so on. And digital nutrition and bioenergetic revitalization have a lot of programs, microcurrent programs, but they also have their own app module. This digital nutrition, for instance, is that one that has 72 different programs that are all the frequency information of different supplements. But it also has an app module, meaning you can type in conditions you want to deal with, and it'll show you which programs from here to use. But it will also give you like grocery lists, foods that you would eat that would also give you the same, that you would want to also use to help enhance the frequency work that you're doing. All right, so let's look at the different editions. This is before the big discounts I'm going to show you in a second, but if you go from gold to holistic, we go from just having 11 programs to having 63 programs, because we've added the Meridians programs, the bioenergetic harmony programs, and the mental balance programs. When we go to resonance, now we have 98 programs, and we've added a module. The search module, where you can type in a condition, is in all of the editions. But now we've added that resonance module. This is where I scanned my field and saw that I should be running the lungs program, right? So, and then it has the power 3 and sleep and the rest of the pain programs and fitness and chakras at the resonance level. I highly recommend starting here or higher if you can, because doing these scans is what makes the Healy so cool. Resonance Plus is, now we've added the Success Coach module, the ARA module, Deep Cycle Learning and Skin programs. And when you go to Professional, now we're at 229 programs, Bioenergetic Defense, Job and Beauty, and we've added that Digital Nutrition module and programs and the Bioenergetic Vitalization module and programs. So that is how these step ups, and you would just decide which ones of these are important to you. If you can afford the Professional, of course, you should go with Professional. You want as much as you can possibly do. Here's the discounts that we're doing, and plus there's a couple promotions I want to share with you. Between now and December 15th, so the 1st of December through the 15th, which is just 2 days from now, you can get 45% off on any edition except for the gold. This is kind of our holiday magic promotion for the holidays here. So for instance, even the professional, instead of being $4,041, is about $2,222. That's a pretty significant discount. And they've added another promotion on top of that, where if you purchase the Resonance Plus or the Professional at these discounted prices, they also give you a free gold edition as well. So you have a second Healy, have a second Healy at the lowest edition level, which you can still use. There's still programs on there. You got more than one in your family, or you can use it as a gift, or you know what, you also have it as a device that you can upgrade if you want to a higher edition down the road if you choose. So that's really, really cool. The Healy Coil is a separate accessory. It's about $225 and highly recommended. This wasn't even available when I first got my Healy or when Riley got hers, because they invented it later. And it's a newer accessory, but it does make it extremely convenient to be able to do a lot more frequency work, and just to be able to put the Healy in your pocket, go out and do things in the world. You know, you can be out shopping, driving, whatever, and you just have the Healy in your pocket running programs with that coil attached. Oh, I'm not doing that, sorry. Here we go. And then right here, we have the last thing I like to point out is you can become a member, which means that you can actually share the Healy with others. It's not required and it doesn't even cost anything. If you want to just be a customer, that's fine. But if you see a lot of value in this, you're probably going to tell other people about it. So Healy gives you an incentive too. You can earn commissions for referring other people to Healy, and you can earn even a free Healy device up to the Resonance Plus edition level for free by just selling, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 different Healys, depending on what editions they are. It's through a point system, but you have a time period to get that done, a couple months, but it's very, very doable. And we will help you with that, help you with getting that done. But it's really, we're using a network marketing concept, of course, which means not only can you earn on your own sales, but as you build a team and build a network, you can earn a little bit on the efforts of a lot of people. So for me, this has been what I got very excited about when I first heard about this, because I had actually quit my job. I was looking to build income online so that we could sell our house and move into an RV and be mobile, so we could be near our grandkids who had moved away. We lived in Virginia. They were living in Georgia and Montana. Now the ones in Georgia moved to Colorado, and you know, it's just people moving. And so that was our goal. Well, guess what? It worked. We built a team. Riley is part of my amazing team. I'm very grateful for Riley, of course, and the many, many others that work with us. And this is worldwide. We're in between 50 and 60 countries. So if you know people all over the world, you can build a global business with us. And this has allowed my wife and I to sell our house back in March. We do live in an RV now full time. It's a very nice 42-foot long fifth wheel luxury RV. So it feels like home to us. And we are able to travel. So right now we're in Colorado, so we'll be near those grandkids. A couple of weeks ago, we were in Montana, where we had a new baby grandson born, and we were able to be there when he was born. And we are loving that we're building a lifestyle and not just a business, because I personally do most of this business online, just sharing webinars like this and one-on-one Zoom meetings with people, and really promoting through online methods of how to get the word out of Healy. So if that interests you, this is a great income opportunity and a great business. I'm going to stop showing there. Now, Riley, is there anything else you wanted to share, or any questions that came up that we should read and answer aloud that would help other people? You have to unmute probably.
We did have one question about changing the frequency strength. I believe that's in the Heal Advisor app, where you can increase the intensity. Did you want to show that part, or would you like to do that another time?
Well, that's more of a training thing, but what they're referring to is the Healy comes at a low current as the default, because some people are very sensitive to frequencies, but it's really like a very small percentage of the population. So we usually would have them go into what's called the Heal Advisor app. It's a third app. I showed it to you, but it's where we can do the search functions and stuff. You would go in there and go into the settings, and you can change it from low current to high current, and then it's just getting more, I mean, it's going to make your battery wear down a little faster, but you can feel it more. You get more current going through your body if that's important to you. Healy has said you don't really need to have it at a high current. As long as that wave is going and it shows that you have a connection through your body, that's all you need. You don't even have to feel it. So anything else, or is there anything else you just wanted to share, Riley, before we stuff.
Yeah, one more thing I'd like to share. Your friends and your family are going to see you feel better and look better, and your energy is going to be shifted different when they notice that you're using the Healy, and they're going to want to use one. So when my dad brought this Healy home, it was initially for my mom, and then my dad was using it so much, my mom couldn't use it. So then we had to get another one. So even though the Healy is used for everybody in the household, you're not going to want to share. So make sure that if you want that opportunity to share the Healy and earn a free one, you actually can do that
Yeah, so
and take it.
one of the thing that I forgot to point out is that we do offer a financing program as well, right? When you check out, whichever, doesn't matter which edition you choose, but if it's hard to just put all that on a credit card, that's the easiest way to do it, just put it on a credit card. But we do have financing through a company called Klarna. You may have heard of Klarna. They do financing for lots of companies on the internet. I even saw a big sign for Klarna in a Calvin Klein outlet store. So they're all over the place now, but you can click Klarna and then you can apply. Basically, it's a quick online application, and you could possibly even get 24 months with even 0% financing if your credit's amazing. Otherwise, it's I've found that people that qualify, it's not super high, outrageous interest rates or anything, but that's always an option if you need to do that. So that's about it for tonight. I think thank you, Riley, for joining us tonight too, and I hope this is helpful. Please get back with the person that shared this information with you. You know, ask them to tell you more if you need more information, or if you're ready to order, you can get your Healy ordered. What I recommend doing, especially at these prices, if you can afford it, order the professional edition at 45% off, order a Healy coil, and then there's a couple accessories I usually recommend is getting extra one of these wires so that if one gets damaged, you have an extra on hand so you can still do microcurrent. And then there's a really cool little travel case that keeps everything in one spot. So that's usually the 4 things my people are doing. Oh yes, there's the travel case right there. Oh, and actually let's show, I gotta reach over here guys real quick. This is the Mag Healy. I forgot to point this out. This is a brand new device. Now this, I would recommend getting the Healy to start with, or if you just have a lot of money, you're welcome to get both. But this on its own is about almost $3,000, and it has never been discounted. It's only been out a couple months, but it does a whole different type of frequency work where it's in a magnetic field. So there are programs where you can put it on specific parts of your body and it emits a magnetic field full of frequencies, even some that do 2 frequencies at a time, that are programs created by a lady named Dr. Carolyn McMakin, who has written a great book called The Resonance Effect, if you want to look up a book about using resonant frequencies. So she is now partnering with Healy and developed a bunch of programs for this Mag Healy. But what's really cool is you can do atmosphere programs where you just set it in the room and it'll emit frequencies into the whole room. And there's program names like study or office or car or pantry or kitchen, you know, for different kind of atmospheres. There's things like family harmony and children playing, and it just creates, you know, frequency in the room to help create a more conducive environment for whatever you're trying to deal with. But there's also these really cool water programs where you can set your Healy. I would have the lid off of this, but I fill the water bottle, set this on top, and run a 10-minute program. There's 24 different programs. They're just 10 minutes long, and it puts frequencies into the water that you're going to drink. It's called informing your water. And then when you drink that water, you're also getting the benefits of those frequencies that way. So what's cool about this is that Healy is developing more and more cool technologies, even beyond our wonderful Healy, which is like nothing else out there in the world. And now we have this incredible Mag Healy, and there's going to continue to be ongoing things. So for those of you that are thinking, this might be a good business, that's what's cool about this. You know, there's going to be ongoing neat products that fans of Healy are going to want to have other products down the road. So if you can build that team and that network, your income can explode and you can really benefit from the growth of Healy. This is going to become a multi-billion-dollar company, whether you like it or not. So do you want a piece of that? I said, yeah, I want a big piece of that. So I'm working my butt off right now to build a great team of leaders, and we'd love to have you become part of that. So with that, I'm going to say goodnight. And Riley, you have any last words?
We did have or what do you do if you're not experiencing anything, benefits, changes when using the Healy? Keep using it. Actually, when you run that program every day for the next 7 to 10 days, you'll actually start seeing those symptoms or issues go away, and it won't appear in your scan anymore. Like David said, his sciatic pain he was using it and that program probably quite frequently in the beginning, and now that he doesn't have to run that program more than once or twice um, every so often. So as the more you use that program and follow what your Healy says, those issues go away.
All right. Lori says, is there a breakdown on what each does in more detail? Yeah, please, Lori, just reach out to the person that told you about Healy. There's, they have a back office. They can download the Healy manual. If you download the Healy app, like I showed you, you can even click on, even if you don't have a Healy, I think, will it let you do that? Yeah, I think you can. The Healy app, you can go and look at information, the information tab, and look at the manual right there, and it'll have a breakdown of all the different things. So all right, thank you, everybody. We're here every Monday night. So if you have people you'd like to introduce this to, feel free to come back. Same link, same time every Monday night. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.